Hello, everyone, and welcome to Circus and Changing Realities 2020, a series of virtual dialogues about the future of circus. I'm your moderator, Fiona Bradley. In this episode entitled Circus Students Graduating Into a Pandemic, I will be talking to graduating students about their plans for graduating and their hopes as well as fears for the future during this big transition in their lives that happens to be taking place during a moment in history where the functioning of society around the world has been challenged by the pandemic on many levels. With our current and future realities heavily impacted. This situation brings a change to circus, and in particular, circus schools. So let's hear from some of the graduating circus students about their experiences with graduation and their strategies for coping in this time of uncertainty. Let's begin with some introductions to our panel. So please tell us your name, the country you're in, and what school you are graduating from.
Hi, I'm Marysia. I'm from the USA, and I just graduated from the New England Center for Circus Arts, NECCA.
Hi, my name is Cecilia. I am graduating from ESAC in Belgium, and I'm originally from Mexico.
Hi, I'm Betka. I am from Czech Republic, and now I'm graduating from Codarts from Netherlands.
Hi, I'm Agustin. I come from Mexico too, and I'm graduating from ENC in Montreal.
Hi, my name is Ingrid Apgar. I'm from the United States, and I am graduating New York University and Circus Warehouse.
Hi, my name is Emily Lowe. I'm from Australia, and I am graduating from the National Institute of Circus Arts here in Melbourne.
Awesome. It's so lovely to meet all of you. Thank you for coming and starting this conversation with me. So my first question to anybody who would like to answer is, what has been the hardest part of the last year of circus school for you? I know it's a tough question. I'm sure there's lots of difficult things.
Oh my gosh, pandemic related or not? Because for us,
it doesn't matter.
Like one of the most difficult parts for us at NECCA was our graduating class was producing a show that we were going to take on tour. And right as we were about to start going into rehearsals, the director was about to fly in to start working with us is when Vermont locked down. And so we had been prepping for this show pretty much all year. And then right as we were on the verge of like beginning creation is when everything got canceled. So
wow.
That's probably the most difficult.
For sure. Ingrid?
I think one of the biggest challenges, either pre-pandemic or mostly during the pandemic, has just been the insecurity of space and worrying, because obviously to train in New York, it's incredibly expensive to maintain a space big enough to continue ongoing training. And my biggest worry has been that we will lose that space somehow, and that other spaces that I don't train in will also lose their spaces.
Yeah, that's really difficult. I hope you can find some place to train. Betka, do you have a tough thing that happened?
Yeah, I think this moment is the hardest part for us because we're supposed to graduate with our act now. So we didn't have a possibilities to train with our coaches for this moment and to actually finish our acts. And also at this moment, we're supposed to meet people from Netherlands and with the promoters. And this is also didn't happen. So the future at this moment for us with the personal acts is the hardest part, I think.
Yeah, so it sounds like your connection to the circus world is actually being hindered because you're not able to meet the presenters and the promoters that you were planning on meeting in order to begin your career. It's really hard.
Exactly. The what's going to happen after this? Even during circus school, we're like, okay, we're hoping to present our final numbers with promoters and get a chance of being seen and to perform. Of course, we want to perform, and and now we've got the pandemic. We got to change everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had just started our 3rd year, so usually we would graduate in December, but we don't really know when our graduating will be. But we got about seven weeks through our 3rd year, so it doesn't really feel like it's coming to an end anytime soon, really, just because of how unsure everything is.
Yeah.
Hadn't even started final acts. It's just been super unsure.
Yeah. So you just began your final year because you're in Australia and it's a different timing. So yeah, that's a really rough start to a final year. Wow. Cecilia?
I think for me personally and for the people who are in ESAC right now, it's very frustrating what you have been saying to deal with this uncertainty. We were supposed to graduate now in June, and now it's being postponed to October, where we really hope that we will be able to make a show. Definitely not with the same conditions as we're going to do it in June. But right now, we don't even know when we get back to like training and like the school is opening. So really, everything is on a very long pause where you can't really plan ahead because you don't know whether you're gonna get your diploma when you need to get your diploma, or like if I'm gonna get a job soon enough to get a working visa to stay in Europe. Like there's a lot of things that are on stake, and you can't really plan what is going to happen because there's still so much things that are changing and that we're all waiting for them to like get resolved in a way that it's just, I think being in this state of like uncertainty and not being able to plan ahead, like career wise, it's really like, I think frustrating, at least for me.
Yeah, it's really hard. So everybody's kind of feeling uncertain. Everybody's having a hard time finding places to train, places to perform. Everybody's going through a lot right now. So my next question is, how did your school in particular handle this quarantine? Are they doing online classes? Are they just putting you on a break? Do you know do you have a potential end date? Is there anything in particular about your school that you can share?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about what NECCA's been doing. They canceled the remainder. We only had about 2.5 more months left of the year, and they essentially canceled it for all of us because Vermont went into lockdown. It's a non-essential service. They had to shut down the building. They transitioned to online classes. We had a couple of weeks of online classes, and then we got tuition refunded. And we've still had a lot of our coaches are like so involved with us. I'm sure this is true for most everyone here too, but like our coaches have been like so worried about us and staying in contact and like checking in on us constantly. But yeah, that's been about the state of things with NECCA.
Nice. Ingrid?
Circus Warehouse we're not doing any online classes like NECCA. And as we were going into the shutdown, we were about to have a show that I believe was maybe March 15th. And in the lead up to that show, we had already gone into not really touching each other, very obsessive hand washing, basically no physical contact as best we could, which of course is hard when you're trying to spot people, and training and not touching do not go well together.
Mm-hmm.
But when our show got canceled and the warehouse completely closed, like no people there at all, what has mainly happened is we transitioned to coaches doing their own individual online classes, not affiliated with the warehouse, so we can continue to train in whatever way training can happen. So my dance trapeze coach, Susan Wojcicki, continues her sort of split islands training sequence that we do, and we'll roll out together, and we'll kind of just try to maintain some semblance of community when we can't spatially be together. But it's hard because not everybody is able to be in the air in any way, and not everywhere is it safe to be in the air in the first place. So it's a lot of, I assume kind of everyone is dealing with a lot of ground training and conditioning and attempting to maintain some sort of condition that will then lend itself to going back to the air when we're able to.
Yeah. So online classes and trying to keep your community together. Yeah, it's really important. Emily, you have something to say?
That sounds really rough for you guys to just have finished your year off that way. I'm like, I don't know what's, like, our year got cut halfway through, but at least like we know we're going back, like, because technically we're still in school, so Australia still gets government funding if you're still a student, and so at least in this time, like, a bunch of us still have. I couldn't imagine the situation you guys have all been through. The NECCA have been, like, obviously trying to keep everybody on a schedule, and like we have a weekly schedule of, there's at least 2 classes every day for everybody to maintain fitness, whether that be manipulation, aerials, conditioning, or acrobatic conditioning. And we can kind of choose between those classes. We have like check-ins with our specialty trainers, as everybody seems to have as well.
Is this all online?
It's all online, yeah, it's all over Zoom, Zoom meetings. And those 40-minute limitation Zoom meetings, I feel like, get the best of everybody. And we're all like in the middle of burpees, and then it's like, oh no, it's going to time out in 5 seconds. Oh, we're just going to start a new meeting. Hold on a minute.
The struggle.
Yeah, totally. I mean, but there's still understanding that we're going through a global pandemic, and that, like, so our specialties are required, but the training timetables are just encouraged for us to go to. But they're like, if you don't need to go there, don't go there. If you need to have your space, have your space. But yeah,
so can I ask, are you an aerialist or are you a ground?
I'm so lucky and full ground based.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do hand-to-hand and bounce juggling. So I mean, obviously hand-to-hand, not being able to train until last week, restrictions got lifted. We could have 5 people in a home. So I was able to invite my flyer over, and we were able to actually condition together.
That's great.
Which has been super weird because it's been weeks without each other. So it's been really exciting. Yeah, that was ridiculous. But yeah, no, I'm only one of, out of our cohort, there's only 2 of us that don't do an aerials based. So at the moment, there's like huge conversation with assessments when we go back, because we hadn't even started an assessment. You know, I think we had done 1 work in progress assessment, which was like, didn't have to really prove much. It was just show that you're working towards your skills. So there's a huge chat at the moment with what assessments look like, and for the rest of the year, considering we have the majority of the year left.
So uncertain, but I'm glad that you got to see your partner and work on.
It's so nice. It's like home, you know, when you get to train together. You're like, oh, that's right. This is what I do.
Augustine, it's you.
Yay. Well, we're 3 weeks away from presenting our final numbers. So we're just supposed to have 2 weeks off and then come back and perform. And at the end, it became a quarantine. So we had like 3 weeks kind of off while school was figuring things out with the government and everything. And then we started having Zoom classes, optional Zoom classes. Or like, if we feel that we can take them, great. If not, take care of yourself. Which is pretty good. Me personally, I enjoy them a lot. Also, like, just having the feeling that you're training with someone, it's great.
So important for that motivation, right?
Yeah. And talking about like visas, we're still getting our diplomas on time. Like we had to get evaluated in an alternative way, doing like a written analysis of our number, which I also found super useful. Like even pandemic or not, I think it's a great thing to do.
Yeah. It's a great way to evaluate.
Yeah.
Cecilia?
Yeah, just to like compare a little bit, like for example, Agustin, I find it so nice that you get to have your diploma now, even though like trying to evaluate the students in a different way, in a way that suits everybody right now. It's really hard for ESAC people to being evaluated because there's like certain rules, like I think that have to do with the government that don't allow us to get the diploma right now. So this is why everything is getting postponed until October. Like we would hopefully graduate on October with or without a show. If we cannot do a show by October, then we would be doing either a video kind of thing or just a presentation with the judges. And even though we're also working on like the written part of our act and the dossier and everything that has to do with that, there's like it's really hard to envision and to write about an act that's not entirely finished or maybe even halfway through. Like we were about to go into that period of like fully working on our final act, and that's where the school closed. So it's really hard to say like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then you're like, I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna do it because I haven't tested it, and there's like still many things that were like in work in progress that sometimes either you forget or then the ideas are like very easily gone because you don't have the means to actually put them like together or to see if they work or have an external eye or like actually being with your apparatus or with your partner to feel those things. And fortunately the school has been like really supportive, and like if you need anything from the teachers, they're there. We've had some Zoom classes only with the theoretical subjects that we carry out in school. And I know that there has been some like hand balancers that have had classes with their teachers. Obviously for aerialists, it's a little bit complicated. I just like last week I started hanging again, which was also really weird for my body, being like, oh yeah, I hang, and my body like sort of forgot that sensation of hanging. But I think the school is really trying to like give us like tools and like trying to stay connected and like have meetings just to check in, to make sure that we're still like we're okay, that we're like going through this phase, even though there is so many question marks yet. I feel like the school is really trying to like also calm us down a little bit.
That's good. For ESAC, were you originally planning to graduate in October, or was it pushed back?
It was pushed back. Originally, we were going to do our final project on mid-June, and now everything, well, it's obviously not going to happen. A lot of people are not even in Brussels right now. So people went back home. Like there's a lot of things happening with our class, and it's hard to like, many people are demanding to have the diploma now, which is not really possible because we really don't have that like last bit of work that needs to be evaluated.
Yeah.
And we don't have the means to like present that in any other way. So
Yeah.
whether they say, okay, then do a video of like your act, I'm like, well, I don't have a space to hang on, so I can't give that to you either. So this is
Yeah.
why everything is just being pushed back,
Mhm.
just so things calm down a little bit more and everybody is able to like do what they have to do.
Yeah. Sounds like a tough spot to be in. Betka, did you have something to say?
We had classes, but mainly theory. So we had a light design workshop and marketing workshop. I think we used the time well, I think. And also once a week, we had a meeting with our coaches, and so you could train with your coach or make some plan. And also we had a meeting with our class, so we could be together a bit and talk how everybody deals with the situation. And at this moment, our school opened the building just for our year, so we can go to train. But everybody has own space, and there's a really strict regulation about that. And we have to make a video around 2 minutes or something like that, and then write about the act something, and then we are gonna have a talk with the committee about the video and about the text. And we are gonna graduate in June, and we are gonna get the diploma. And maybe in autumn we are gonna have the show, but it's gonna be just as a voluntary possibility for the students. So not everybody has to join, because some my classmates already have contracts and they want to move on. So that's why it's just for people who wants to join. And this is not sure. We have to still wait if the school say yes or not to this.
So it sounds like Codarts is the only school that actually is allowing their students into the building to train currently.
Yeah, it's like they opened it two or 1 week ago. So
Wow.
it's just now, and it's just for our year.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really want to let us graduate in June and give us the diploma. So that's why they opened the building that we can make the video. So this
Wow.
is
Do you have access to coaches, or is it just
no,
you?
just us. Like we can have online coaching, but that's it.
Wow. Okay. That's very interesting.
We cannot even meet as a students in the building. It's really strict.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, NECCA actually did a similar thing when we were phasing out. They had really strict regulations. I think it was 5 people or less, and we have a huge space. No coaches, lots of regulations, and we did that for about like a week or so before everything shut down. And I think the reopening plan is to kind of phase back in along those lines, like the very small groups, really spaced out. So
I think Circus has similar plans where it's going to be just a few people, because we have lots of students who are not in the professional program. So I think Susie Winston's intentions are to have it be first the intensive students and a few coaches, but a very, very small group, and then we'll sort of ease our way back into more people from there.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So a lot of schools are doing a very similar thing with the phasing in and the phasing out. That's very interesting. So now that we've talked about the physical side of actually what we're able to do, what we're not able to do with our bodies right now, I want to know about what the difference is, if there is any, between your dreams for your circus career pre-COVID-19 and post-COVID-19. So if you've had to change and reshape and rethink what your dreams and your plans are. Augustine, do you have something to say? I can tell.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel that this pandemic has reassured me, kind of the purpose of why I'm doing this, more than what led me to this as a kid. Like now, I understand much more the social purpose that art has, like
Yeah.
the effect that it can have on people. And we've trained this for many years. We can create, artists should go on the streets. And right now we're graduates. We have young minds. It's we can adapt more easily. So, well, first of all, I had no idea it was going to be stuff like this. I was going to be doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
But from one week to the other, I feel like a freelancer. No, it's fun. I'm very optimistic in a very unknown way. It's like this feeling of uncertainty but adventurousness. So
Wow. That's so beautiful and inspiring. So you're kind of using it to like feed your art right now, and it's actually changing the way that you create. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, or why do you create?
Yeah. Why?
It's
Yeah.
I don't feel it's anymore like, oh, I want to transmit this message. No, it's also for people. It's important to be entertained, to have something that liberates their mind, and they're gonna take whatever they can take. So give them the chance to receive something, because at the end we're the ones creating. So
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Emily?
Yeah, just to add to Augustine's point, and less about dreams pre and post, but I feel like this COVID has given us circus artists a chance to play, like within our homes and within, and ours is a 3-year degree. I'm not too sure about everybody else's, but it's been 3 years of whatever you create, you have pressure on what you create and you need to capitalize on what you create. Whereas like, I feel like this COVID has given me a chance to, play in a doll frame and not expect it to go on stage. And it has allowed me to like actually enjoy it and not so much worry about what I'm doing, but enjoy what I'm doing. Is that a similar thing that you kind of felt with Augustine, or? Yeah.
it's super freeing. Well, also I think it's kind of the feeling that this pandemic also has, like everything is so slow. Remember the rhythm of life that we had before, that we could do like 8 things in one day, and right now we might do 3 things, 2 things, 3 things, and we take the time for it. It's I mean, yes, the pandemic is chaotic, but at the same time it's got its silver linings.
Slowing us down. Cecilia, I think you had something to say, and then Ingrid.
Yeah, just what Emily and Agustin were saying. It's very like, I feel the creativeness was really like interiorized. Of course, I had moments where I did not feel creative at all, and I did not feel like I was doing like or being what I was supposed to. But also like finding the time, yes, and the space and the interests, like other than circus, that also wake up that creative side of myself, and to take advantage of that, and to take things from other like areas of that kind of creation that then I can also put into my work. Like it was really right now the time to find a lot of unanswered questions that I didn't even know they were unanswered, just because I didn't have the time to actually think of those things. And yeah, I think that has like reestablished a lot of priorities and things that I didn't have in mind that much before the pandemic.
Sounds like it's giving everybody a lot of insight.
I would agree with that. I think the biggest shift in my own hopes and dreams for my life as it is oriented towards circus have gone from being very external and outwardly projected, as in like, I want to go here and do this and see these people or perform this. And it's shifted towards more of I want to keep myself healthy and myself safe, and I want to sort of prehab and rehab and deal with all of the sort of little things that I feel like I can get stuck with and won't have time to work on when I'm training constantly. And also, since I did sort of regular university and circus at the same time, I have come to really appreciate, first, I'm in my family home right now, so I have space in a way that I never have in New York. I have space to move as I please and or not move as I please if I really don't want to get off the couch today. And it's, I don't know, I have a greater appreciation, I guess, for space and health in all of the forms that comes in. And that's where my dreams have shifted it for the moment.
Yeah. It's really interesting to the way that this has shifted everyone's thought process around circus. Does anyone else have anything to say about this before I ask the next question?
Even the lifestyle, like the thoughts, like the relationship with yourself, your sense of purpose, your relationship with other people, with food, with everything. You can, like, you get to know so many other things of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That we're not just circus artists, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Betka?
Yeah, I just want to agree with all of you because, yeah, at the beginning I was just focusing on the act and I'm gonna graduate, and now during the quarantine I realized, okay, who am I and why I wanna create something and what I want to do. It suddenly, yeah, shifts to me, not to outside what was said already. So I just want to agree with that.
Cool. So my next question is, how will your generation of circus performers and their current experiences change the artistic side of the art form? Videos, different types of shows. How do you think this will change circus as an art form? Your wildest guess is appreciated. Yes, Ingrid.
I think there might be, this is somewhat abstract, but there might be a greater appreciation for, or just a greater noticing of the idea of collectivity and how it manifests in our different art forms. Because there are obviously performers who are sort of, despite being a part of a greater community, work by themselves and are solo performers. And then there are people like Emily, where you said, like, I haven't seen my flyer in a really long time until last week. I think greater attention will be paid to what our bodies can do alone and what our bodies can do together.
Yeah, like the contrast between that as well. Interesting. Marysia?
So I've been, so a couple months ago, I got invited to join a company actually, and we were going to start putting together a tour that was going to be happening this summer. And I've been in a lot of conversations with the director about like where we're going with it in relation to the pandemic. So I've had this thought on my mind a lot. And one of the shows that the company was going to produce was already set to be a site-specific production. And I feel like we're going to see more and more of those. So the idea was we were going to be producing it at a circus arts retreat up in Bellingham, Washington. And we were going to put performers throughout the space and have people move through in small groups. And the funny thing was that was already the format before the pandemic, and now it just makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
But what we've also done, yeah, so the company, it's called the Fox and Beggar Theater, and what we've also been talking about is how to shift the tone of the shows to address what's been going on a little bit as well. Like, I feel like it's kind of like dropping on stage, you know, like you want to point to the larger context and not just ignore it. So I hope what comes out of it is more art that speaks to this like overall human experience that we're having, like as like as like humankind right now.
Yes, that is so poignant right now. Any other ideas or thoughts? Emily, yeah?
Yeah, I feel like since the quarantine has started, a lot of online presence have been a lot more of people in their homes naturally. And I think that shows a lot of vulnerability with a lot. And I feel like I know my friends better because they're at their circus homes, or someone who's graduated 3 years above me. I'm seeing them not on tour. I'm seeing them at their homes creating and being themselves. And I really hope that that flourishes through our generation, because it's been really nice to get to know the people where they originated from. And
Yeah.
also Australia has been doing, I don't think it's just Australia, I think it's just originated, like every Saturday night has been an online cabaret, and there's been like international artists on it, and there's been like, it's just an opportunity for you to show 5 minutes. But it's really, I hope it continues. I think it's thinking about continuing after the quarantine, because it's, number one, set in your own home, so you can set up the space, you can prep for it how you like. There's no pressure to go to a theatre to, you know, I think they do like a little green room in the back, so you still get to chat to all your performers in the little breakout room meeting. But I really hope that that pushes through to the future, because I think that puts way less pressure on people who just want to show a bit of work to an audience,
Yeah,
whether it's
that's
polished or
exciting.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Cecilia?
Yeah, I think the projection I can hope for is also the accessibility to art in general. I think now that we were like, the whole world was in this situation, I saw a lot of museums like putting things online, like virtual visits to exhibitions, like operas just uploading like like the Met just posting operas for like 24 hours, 48 hours to people to watch free. And I think that's like, people are also really eager to watch and to consume art right now, being like the greatest form of distraction of all this madness that is going on in the world. And I think people are also very open to share it. It's not like, I feel sometimes art can seem exclusive, and it's hard for people to like enjoy it because you're like a little bit judged because you don't understand it, or there's like a lot of judgment as well. But I think now it's opening more to giving it, and spreading it and making people like entertain people, and letting them have that, like, just because you can just give it to them. And I think that like accessibility, it's what's gonna also change a lot, I feel like, art
That's a
in
really good
general.
point. Yeah, accessibility is definitely changing. Yeah, that's very true. Augustine?
So, definitely the technological development is, there's going to be a huge research on that to make better the quality of the online online content. I mean,
Yes.
for 2 months it's been all right, but I don't know. Personally, I'm a little bit tired of just like seeing people in their backyards. Like it can definitely get better. And how can we make how can we recreate the experience of a live performance online, because many people will not feel comfortable going back to shows right away. And then also, well, of course, the research on that, using other kind of disciplines like animation, design. I think that can be so cool. And then also, uh, as Marysia said, outside performances, it'll be much easier to distribute an audience, keeping people safe. And people want to go out. They need to. they want to do it. Maybe make it more dynamic. I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
Totally. Becca?
Yeah, I just want to add to this that during the quarantine here in Czech Republic, people started to perform outside in front of the houses and in the parks and so on. So suddenly it was nice that the public space started to be alive. So I think maybe this is also a future for art to not be just in theaters, but more in as a site specific. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I love that trend that's been happening. If the virus continues to keep festivals and shows shut down, do you have a plan for how you can either continue to create circus or just some sort of backup plan where you think you might be going in the future? Yeah, Augustine.
I'm so sorry. I talk a lot.
No problem.
Okay. Well, again, people need art, and here in Canada, I'm seeing that even the government is supporting it, and there are grants for online creations, for outside creations, as long as it respects the sanitary guidelines. Like, the government is asking for it. Why not? Like, why not start to do our own creations? Use this as a constraint to adapt to make this kind of art form evolve. So that's the plan.
Yeah.
But also, we never know. Life takes you to different places.
That's so true. And that's such a good point about it. Art needs constraints. So this is a very big constraint that we are forced to create around right now. Yes. Marysia?
Yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts along those lines. Like, I feel like circus is uniquely situated to be so resilient too. And like us as circus artists, like we're used to working under really extreme conditions, especially in the US where like circus is very not supported by the government. We're really used to making like art out of nothing. And that like, I feel like we are particularly flexible, creative, and strong in the face of this, like uniquely so. Yeah, and like I already talked a little bit about the company I'm joining and the ways that we've shifted. Like this show that we were planning to tour this summer, we're now putting all of our energy into creation and putting together a promotional kit for it and touring it next summer, ideally. And then putting the rest of our resources towards this site-specific piece that's already being envisioned. And it's actually like with all this downtime, I've had so much more energy to invest in the company because originally I was just cast and I was like, oh, great, I'll do my graduation tour. I'll move out to the West Coast. I'll join this cast. And now I've gotten so much more hands-on because I'm like, I have the time, I have the energy. Like, let me be much more involved and supportive and up close with the art. So, yeah.
Yes, that's so exciting. And congratulations, by the way, for being cast in that show.
I count myself really lucky. Yeah.
Amazing. So graduating circus school is a very big milestone for all of you. Some of you maybe are about to graduate or have just graduated. What are your plans to celebrate your graduation once that does happen? Or do you have any plans? Or are you scrambling to find plans?
Go for it, Emily.
Nah, I'm not graduating anytime soon. My graduation plans are so far in the future that it's so exciting to just think about what it could be like.
Yeah, that's true.
The world will be back together. Maybe I'll be able to travel. Maybe, probably not. Let's be real. But yeah, no plans.
Okay, great. Ingrid?
I have a similar feeling. I don't have plans to celebrate because just being able to go back feels like it will be celebration enough. And by go back, I mean like truly be in person with people, to be able to have physical contact and touch back in our lives. That itself will be such a celebration that I don't want anything more than that.
Aw.
Celebrating.
Yeah, Betka?
Yeah, I just hope that I'm gonna meet also my teachers before I leave the Netherlands and so on, because
Yeah.
of course probably I will come back and everything, but this is my big hope, because yeah, I want to see them before I leave, and yeah, celebrate with them also.
Yeah, that's a beautiful wish. I hope you can see your teachers too.
Like, I think one of the most difficult parts of this for us anyways has not been having any closure. And I think that's what graduates in general are really struggling with, is like one day we were in like such close contact with each other and our coaches, and then the next day, like there's like, at least at NECCA, since they basically canceled the rest of the year and we don't get like a graduation, we feel like, a lot of us feel like we didn't get a chance to say goodbye. And I think that's been the most painful part, like losing the tour. Yeah, that really sucks. Losing the closure has been the most difficult.
Yes, that is so hard. I think everybody's reaching out for types of closure right now, especially graduates, like you said, even not circus graduates, people who are just graduating different university. Yeah, you, Ingrid, you're like, yep. Has your non-circus school part of the equation had some sort of graduation plan?
So our graduation was supposed to be May 18th for my school within the greater university, and then NYU's biggest celebration at Yankee Stadium was supposed to be the 20th, and both were canceled, rightfully so. We had brief online they weren't even ceremonies, they were like salutes, I think we called them, as a for my smaller school, the Gallatin School of Individualized Study, for us to be together and see each other and talk to each other and have some fun. But eventually, I believe we're supposed to have in-person graduations. They just might be, the day before 2021 graduation happens, or if that can't happen, then it'll be far in the future. So it feels like there's no closure, but I look forward to there being eventual closure.
I hope that for all of you, that you can all find the closure you need from your education and your circus school experience. Yeah, Augustine?
Me personally, I feel that right now, closure is starting to do a project, starting to notice, feel the internal reward that I'm actually starting to do things by myself, and it's okay. And I did a circus school to prepare for it, and I'm super thankful about it. Maybe it's not the show that we had envisioned, and that's life.
Yeah, that's so true. Everything is always changing anyway. You just got a very large change. Yeah. So our generation has a heavy burden of the environmental crisis, political upheaval, COVID-19, and even more things that I don't have time to list out right now. But continuing on from there, in an end of the world scenario, how would your circus skills help you get by during the apocalypse? It's kind of a more silly question, just to lighten us up for a minute while we're dealing with all of this stress.
Resilience and physicality.
Yep.
All the way, yeah.
Yes.
I can echo that. I think it's just the fact that can I curse on here? Is that a no-go?
No. Sorry.
Okay. We can climb things, and we can climb each other.
Yes.
Honestly, if you can't go under it or around it, go above it.
True.
I think also help to other people, no? That we are much stronger than others.
Yeah. Carry people when they need it.
Juggling, yeah. Like that is going to be an essential skill.
Marysia, can you
Really
repeat that? I'm having a
juggling.
hard time hearing you. Marysia, can you say that again? We couldn't hear you.
Sorry, my connection went out. I was just saying how much I'm going to lean on juggling.
Yeah.
Really glad to have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, and my bounce balls, I could bounce and I could blind whoever we need to, because that's how good my
Ooh.
precision is. And then
Yeah.
just the strength of acrobatics, and we'll just use it all together, right? That's how jugglers help in this situation.
As a hand balancer, I can walk on my hands across dangerous things and impress people. That's what I can do. Great, awesome. So does anybody have something like a project? I know, Marysia, you already mentioned your project, but I'm just giving space for everyone to plug whatever project or their Instagram or whatever they want people to find them on and follow them, and give the graduates a little bit of love, because I know you all need it right now. So just tell us about where you want us to follow you, what shows you want us to watch you on your online cabaret shows, whatever you're doing, whatever you're up to.
Okay, yeah. So my plug is Instagram is em.ilyle, so it's just my name with a dot after M. The cabaret show is called Varietyville, if people were interested in that.
Cool.
But a show that I've been working on during COVID, but actually pre-COVID, we got a grant for a production to be shown in September, October this year, but has now been moved to November. It's called Get Well Soon, and it's Circus. Its Instagram plug is called Get Well Circus, which is just a dubbed name just for grant applications. We're not actually sure what it's going to be called yet. But it's about understanding the experience of chronic illness and people who aren't getting well soon. So it's a bit of a play on those words of get well soon. And that's what I've been doing during COVID. We've actually got another grant to become online curators, of where we will make by the end of June, we actually have a deadline to create a resource and blog posts of different researches that we've been doing during COVID, where we've been able to redirect our attention. And it'll also be plugging different artists who also express chronic illness in their art forms also, and just seeing how different mediums treat chronic illness.
That sounds incredible. I'm definitely going to follow.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyone else?
I would love to plug Circus Warehouse, because right now it's on pause indefinitely, and there are definitely some significant financial struggles happening. I think we were lucky to recently get a small government loan, but it's not likely enough to truly keep the space going. So head over to circuswarehouse.com if you happen to have a little bit of money coming in still, throw it at Circus Warehouse. Let's help the space stay open so that people in New York who love the space continue to have a place to go. And follow me at Ingrid Amelia Apgar on Instagram, doing lots of wiggles, the movement. I'm doing a little bit more. I've taken this time to start doing a little bit of active wear and costume making work, so I'm playing around with that, and so come watch the journey.
Amazing.
I would also like to mention, take the space to mention that there is this place in Brussels which is for circus. It's called Argonne 35, so the Argonne 35. It's a really beautiful space, and it's also a house. And the people who take care of the space are really busting their ass off to like lift it up, because it's been really hard with the pandemic. And now like a lot of things are going on with this place, and they're asking obviously for funding to get this place going. So I'm gonna link that on my they don't have like a web page, but I'm gonna link the funding in my Instagram bio, so you can check that out if please anybody can help that space. It's really helpful for people who are not in the school anymore, or artists that are not engaged in the professional circus school in Brussels. There are a few like circus places here for professionals other than the school. So I think this place is really key for people who are graduating and need a place to train, or people who are just passing by. It's a really beautiful space. So my handle is a Cecilia EM. So please check that out.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. And Marysia?
So I already talked a little bit about the company I'm in, the Fox and Beggar Theater. If you're interested in seeing how a circus theatrical company is pivoting in response to COVID, that's worth checking out. I also wanted to plug, I started a Facebook group called Circus Every Damn Pandemic. I think a lot of you, I think I've seen a lot of you on it. But I started that at the very beginning of that. And it's just like, I want to plug it as a space to also plug and promote yourself, because it's become really a community where people can talk about shows and classes and get advice. And it's just been really gratifying to see it come together as an online community. And it's been probably my favorite project of this. It's really given me a thing to do, to like give a space for circus artists to come together. So there's that. And me personally, I'm on Instagram at Upside Downy Girl. Post a lot of weird handstands in my bedroom right now. There's just a lot of that happening. So yeah, that's me.
I'm here for it. Anyone else before I move on to the last question?
Me.
Yes.
Well, I don't know personally like any institution. Like I'm not close to like many institutions, but so I want to tell people to like reach for the artists. We need them, and we can help. Like we can dig inside, and it might help people, and it us does well to us too. We like to share our work. And my Instagram plug is Circus Agustin, just like that. It's easy to find, I think.
Great. Amazing.
Okay, I will also add, now at this moment I'm training in Circus. It's a circus space in Czech Republic, and you can pass by and train here. It's a really lovely space. So, and they are really open for every circus artist. So just come to Prague, and you can really nice place. And me, I'm personally now working on my solo act. So I applied for some residencies, and I want to make a longer show. And you can follow me on Instagram, Betka Ticha. And yeah, I hope to see you somewhere.
Wonderful. I hope everyone goes and follows all of those Instagram accounts and donates to all of those organizations and schools, because the arts need it right now. Truly, we need it. So last moment for you to say anything that you think we missed, or something that you've been thinking about that you would like to say. If you don't have anything to say besides that, you can answer this question. What message would you like to give to your classmates that are coming up behind you in circus school? So the younger generation of circus students, what would you say to them?
Anything can change, and it's all right. Take it as it is.
Yes. So simple and sweet. I love it.
Yeah, I would say lean into the uncertainty, like get comfortable with the knowledge that anything could change at any moment, and get comfortable with like kind of knowing yourself, I would say. That feels like the big lesson that we can take out of this, is that things are always up in the air, and the more grounded you feel in yourself, the more capable you are of landing on your feet. And always land on your feet, never your wrists.
I'd like to echo a similar thing. I think the most important part of this has been me coming to realize, and also through having injuries over the last few years and dealing with those, is I have to wake up every single day and deal with myself base level. Yes, I am a circus performer in person and a student and all of these things. But at the end of the day, we all have to enjoy being ourselves and in our own bodies, and we have to have an appreciation for the things that we can and cannot do. So if we are in a moment where we cannot train as we were before, or be with the people who we want to be with, or be in the spaces that we want to be in, work on being okay with us. And I think that that will come out in all of our performances and our relationships, both during the pandemic and post-pandemic especially.
Yes, amazing. Such words of wisdom. Anybody else have final words? Things to say to your upcoming students, upcoming graduates?
I would say just be ready to like go to any plan or like any of the certainty you thought you were gonna have. Like there's definitely like a constant I wouldn't say it's a struggle, but it's definitely something you work on every day. Of you can't cling onto the things you thought they were going to be, to your expectations. And I think once you understand how to let them go, it just, everything is so much easier for you, for your creative flow, for your future plans, or the plans that may come. I think it just, you need to like take that out of your head, that expectation of things being in a certain way, and just be okay with that fact.
Such good advice. Yes. Emily, did you have something?
Yeah, I would, my advice for younger years would be to honestly just have fun with whatever situation you've been put into, even if it's not one that you particularly saw yourself in the day before or 6 months before, like, but try and have fun and try and push those boundaries in having fun, because that's where you're going to find where you laugh and where you're sad, and that's where you're going to find like your true boundaries as a person. So I think just continuously trying to have fun with what you're doing. Try not to take it too seriously.
I love that.
I just want to add that I think just trust yourself, because then you can go through in any kind of situation, and it doesn't matter what happened, you can go through it.
Yes. Thank you so much for all of that incredible advice, and also for the entire discussion. Everybody had such thoughtful and interesting things to say. I'm really excited to see what work you get up to in the future and what voice you have. It's really inspiring to me, and I'm really excited to see where you all go after graduation. So we're out of time for now, but thank each and every one of you for attending and sharing your perspective on the COVID-19 response from the circus world and from your circus school. Please visit CircusTalk.com COVID-19 resource page for up-to-date tools for artists and companies. During the pandemic, Circus Talk has unleashed a new feature in events that will help you get paid for your work. So with your basic or free membership, you can list your live stream, on-demand shows there, and sell tickets or collect pay-what-you-can donations. You can even list your classes and workshops and collect the class fees directly through CircusTalk via PayPal. CircusTalk even helps promote those shows and classes on social media. So reach to the whole circus community and your audience. Put your circus classes and shows on CircusTalk for free and get paid. That might be good for some of you graduates, actually. Get the annual pro membership subscription. It's now 60% off with the coupon code COVID-19 yearly. Also a good resource for you graduates. You might need some networking. CircusTalk updates the COVID-19 resource page frequently with a breakdown of resources in each country. So please send us your resources and check in to find what relief and assistance your country has to offer circus artists. Tune in next week for another great panel discussion like this one on a different topic. If you have an idea for a panel discussion, please contact us at info@circustalk.com. Thank you so much, everyone. I had a wonderful time. It was great to meet you all. Bye. You can all unmute to say bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much for everything.